I am Warhol. I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation.
With Jay-Z's seminal 2001 album, The Blueprint, Kanye West exploded onto the hip-hop scene, and he's been making waves in the minds, souls, and hearts of fans and detractors alike ever since. His patented mix of old-school soul infused with modern braggadocio struck a chord that reverberated through the community all the way to the masses at large. He was instantly hailed a genius and a powerful new force, and with the accolades came opportunities to have his voice heard. Whether for good or ill, Kanye immediately began capitalizing on his reach, and one could argue that he hasn't stopped talking since his jaw was unbound after his now infamous 2002 car crash. The Chicago native isn't just a mouthpiece, though. He's a phenomenon, known for going from provocative to completely inane without skipping a beat. The self-proclaimed Yeezus has come a long way since lurking in the shadows on Foxy Brown's Chyna doll, and we've compiled a list of his most outstanding moments. Here are the top 10 craziest things Kanye West has said. It cost $1 million. Back in 2006, Kanye West stormed the stages of MTV's VMAs. The artist had been nominated for a Best Music Video award, but the winner was Justice and Simeon's We Are Your Friends. Kanye grabbed a microphone from his fellow musicians and proclaimed, "Ah, hell nah. I agree that we should share the wealth, but come on. This video cost $1 million, fam. I had Pam Anderson. I'm jumping across canyons and shit." Making sure his statement wouldn't be misinterpreted, he finished with a classic maxim before exiting the stage.
If I don't win, the award show loses credibility. It's nothing against you. I've never seen your video. It's nothing against you.
Don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. I have decided to run for president. In 2015, Kanye West was awarded a Michael Jackson Video Vanguard Award, MTV's version of a Lifetime Achievement nod. The trophy was presented to him by none other than Taylor Swift. He began his speech with a soft opener. "I am conflicted, bro. I just wanted people to like me more." His 8-minute speech included memorable moments such as, "Y'all might be thinking right now, I wonder, did he smoke some before he came out here? The answer is yes." And after going off on the state of kids' self-esteem and how to properly empower them for a few moments, his big finish was,
"As you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president."
The audience went insane with applause as they gave a standing ovation. He promptly dropped the mic and gave handshakes to fans as he hopped off the stage and walked back to his seat. The jury is still out as to whether we'll see a Trump versus West electoral race in 2020. I am a god.
When someone comes up and says something like, "I am a god," everybody says, "Who does he think he is?" I just told you who I thought I was, a god.
June 2013 saw Kanye's 6th studio album in 9 years drop. It was called Yeezus, and the quote that may have made the most waves was, "I am a god." While many drew parallels with John Lennon's "We're bigger than God" quote, and others associated the statement with a certain pantheistic perspective that reality is divinity, and that all things compose of an all-encompassing immanent God, some thought the blasphemous phrasing and iconoclastic tone of the message had gone too far. When asked about it in a BBC radio interview with Zane Lowe, Kanye explained himself, and he pulled no punches. "Would it have been better if I would have sung a song that said, 'I'm a gangsta'? Or if I had a song that said, 'I'm a pimp'? All those colors and patinas fit better on a person like me, right? But to say you're a god, especially when you've been shipped over and your last name is a slave name?
How could you say that? How could you have that mentality?"
Some argue that instead of making the case any clearer, he just made the issue worse by turning religious blasphemy into a platform for discussing self-hate and race relations in America. But others were inspired by the bold categorizations, and no matter where you stood on the issue, it made for intense water-cooler conversations at the time.
It is way harder to kill a cat with a staple gun than you'd expect it to be.
I will never be able to see myself perform live.
My greatest pain in life is that I will never be able to see myself perform live.
Some have described Mr. West as the world's most confident man. Others have stated that he is an arrogant, self-obsessed narcissist. We'll let you judge for yourself. Back in 2009, the then 31-year-old rapper told VH1's Storytellers, "God chose me. He made a path for me. I am God's vessel. But my greatest pain in life is that I will never be able to see myself perform live." And, you know, that's an interesting thought experiment.
You're kidding me. Oh, you're kidding me. Ha ha, that was a good one. Your first good one in a while.
Kanye's New York Times interview. Kanye West's June 2013 interview with John Caramanica of the New York Times is famously known for its plethora of West moments. Some might say it is the epitome of everything Kanye detractors are referring to. Others have argued its brilliant and nuanced portrayal is only offensive when quotes are taken out of context. In the spirit of debate, here are a few quotes from the interview, taken completely out of context. I think what Kanye West is going to mean is something similar to what Steve Jobs means. I am undoubtedly, Steve of internet, downtown, fashion, culture, period. By a long jump. I've been connected to the most culturally important albums of the past 4 years, the most influential artists of the past 10 years. You have like Steve Jobs, Walt Disney, Henry Ford, Howard Hughes. So when you get something that has the name Kanye West on it, it's supposed to be pushing the furthest possibilities. I will be the leader of a company that ends up being worth billions of dollars because I got the answers. I understand culture. I am the nucleus. Regardless of whether or not you agree with his evaluation of his brand, his fashion sense, or the future of his line, you can't help but appreciate his stance. In his own mind, he's on top of the world. 2004 AMAs, I Got Robbed.
Gentlemen, get your hands together for Mr. Kanye West!
In September of 2004, Kanye West was up for a new Breakthrough Artist Award at the American Music Awards. He lost to Gretchen Wilson's Redneck Woman.
I might be a redneck woman, but I'm a lover of music, all kinds of music.
Kanye immediately left the show after the announcement, storming off in a show of discontent. He later told interviewers, "I felt like I was definitely robbed, and I refused to give any politically correct bullshit-ass comment. I was the best new artist this year." To many, this was the moment Kanye West revealed himself to the world as a brash, opinionated, egotistical, yet lovable, controversial artist. In all fairness, even though his statements might have been out of place at the time, anyone who's followed Gretchen Wilson's career would be hard-pressed to argue that in the decade and a half since the award, she's made more of a mark on the pop culture scene, on her particular style of music, or as an artist in general. Not to take anything away from Miss Wilson, but I believe history has shown that maybe Kanye was right on this one. Maybe the most impactful artist to break out in 2004 wasn't Gretchen Wilson. Maybe it was Yeezy himself. I do love Donald Trump.
President-elect, this is the President-elect of the United States. Nothing to say?
I just want to take a picture right now.
Late in October of 2016, Kanye West ran into some trouble. It was a hard year for the rapper who released The Life of Pablo, his 7th studio album. Amidst controversies involving pop stars, Taylor Swift, I Made That Bitch Famous, rappers, a few with Jay-Z, and mental health issues, Kid Cudi checking himself into a hospital, Kanye abruptly ended a performance mid-song in Queens, New York.
I'm sorry, this is a family emergency. I have to stop the show.
Upon hearing that his wife, Kim Kardashian, had been gagged, tied up, and robbed at gunpoint inside a posh Paris apartment on Rue Tronchet, the men were dressed as police officers. West has been known to harbor feelings of paranoia since the beginning, and this incident may have driven him over the edge. After a few public exchanges with his former mentor, Jay-Z, Kanye checked himself into the UCLA Medical Center in late November over concerns for his own health and safety. He was released 1 week later on November 30th. 2 weeks after his hospitalization, on December 13th, Kanye was seen with bleached blonde hair at Trump Tower in New York doing a photo op with the commander-in-chief himself. When asked by journalists at the time if he had anything to say about why he was meeting with the president-elect, Kanye simply said,
I just want to take a picture right now.
And Trump followed by saying, "We've been friends a long time."
Kanye West, you know what? I'll never say bad about him. You know why? Because he loves Trump.
His stance and nondescript statement angered fans the world over. Ebro Darden, a Hot 97 hip-hop radio host, asked Kanye about his thoughts on Trump. Darden claims that West told him directly, "I do love Donald Trump." Conspiracy theorists believe the two incidents are related. Some go as far as claiming that Kanye was the victim of a conspiracy to mentally break him down, only to have him re-emerge as a promoter of strange corporate agendas, and that everything from Taylor Swift's statement at the Grammys to Kim's run-in with armed robbers was part of that effort. A few go as far as saying brainwashing techniques were applied to Kanye West during his interment, and that his new loving everybody methodology seen on TMZ is a result of that.
I'm sorry I hurt you, bro. I love you, bro. I'm sorry I hurt you with my words, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I love you, bro.
Others have stated that this was just another example of a black celebrity having entered the sunken place. The sunken place is described as that state of mental purgatory defined by an adherence to a political and social enslavement, to liberal inertia under an unspoken white supremacist supremacist hegemony. Like O.J. Simpson, Stacey Dash, or Ben Carson, the sunken place is where black celebrities fall after having turned their backs on the cause. Jordan Peele describes the sunken place as something that exists, not just for black people, but for women, for our Latino brothers and sisters, for any marginalized group that gets told not to say what they're experiencing. It's the system. It's all these cogs in the wheel that sort of keep us where we are. The sunken place is the silencing. It's the taking away of our expression, of our art. Yeah, maybe you're thinking that got a little too deep, a little too quickly, but Kanye West has that effect on a conversation. Beyonce had the greatest video of all time. On September 13, 2009, Kanye West took to the stage of the MTV Video Music Awards in what could be argued as his second most talked about television appearance to this day. Taylor Swift was accepting the award for Best Female Music Video, which she'd won for her song You Belong to Me, over Beyonce's Single Ladies. And Kanye wasn't having it. He took the microphone away from the petite blonde who was mid-sentence and blurted to a shocked audience and for all the world to hear,
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. One of the best videos of all time.
slavery was a choice.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice.
After lighting fires all over the social media landscape for weeks in preparation for the release of his new album, Kanye West went on TMZ on May 1st, 2018 to further stoke some flames. When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. He quickly continued by saying, "It's like we're mentally in prison." As everybody began raining down fire and brimstone, West attempted to clarify his stance. "We need to have open discussions and ideas on unsettled pain. To make myself clear, of course I know that slaves did not get shackled and put on a boat by free will. My point is, for us to have stayed in that position, even though the numbers were on our side, means that we were mentally enslaved." After which he took to Twitter to say, "Kanye versus the media is modern-day Willie Lynch theory." It goes without saying that despite his explanation, the comment has not gone over well in the black community, or any community, save for the alt-right. George Bush doesn't like black people.
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
This is the one that started it all. On September 2nd, 2005, during a live television fundraiser on NBC for victims of Hurricane Katrina, Kanye West went off script to the mortified face of a powerless and bewildered Mike Myers, who was standing next to him. The Chicago native also blasted the media's portrayal of Katrina's black victims. "I hate the way they portray us in the media. If you see a black family, it says they're looting. If you see a white family, it says they're looking for food. And you know it's been 5 days because most of the people are black. A lot of the people that could help are at war right now, fighting another way, and they've given them permission to go down and shoot us." Myers finished his scripted section of the presentation before Kanye jumped in to say,
"George Bush doesn't care about black people."
The showrunners immediately cut to an understandably confused Chris Tucker, who, in Hollywood fashion, attempted to go on with the show. At the time, the quote stunned the world. It was reported on in the Washington Post, BBC, Fox News, and the New York Times, among thousands of others. And the following week, NPR aired a special on George Bush's relationship with the black community. In a November 9th, 2010 interview with NBC's Matt Lauer, George Bush said of West's statement that it was,
"And it was one of the most disgusting moments of my presidency."
If we consider that 9/11, the second war in Iraq, and the stock market crash of 2008 all happened under Bush's presidency, one could be left to ponder whether or not George W. Bush actually does, in fact, care about anybody.
Your thoughts on Kanye West running for president?
I used to work at the White House.
Do you think he have a chance in 2020?
Thank you.
Is Kanye West a cocky know-it-all constantly running off at the mouth? Or does he have some legitimate points, with possibly a poor method of getting those points across? Comment below. And don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. And since you're already here, don't go anywhere and check out some of our other videos.